Okay, so the relative and the absolute referencing. So the absolute referencing is what we want to talk more about here. And it remains constant no matter where they are copied. That is what the absolute reference is all about. No matter where they are copied. And if you look at the previous illustration I did earlier regarding rank function, do you remember rank function? Regarding that rank function and the sum product, you will see that regardless of where my cells are, regardless of how I fill down, they will still remain constant as long as they have the dollar sign in both the row and the column, as long as the row and the columns are locked. So the referencing will work. It is absolute. And for relative, it is the one we have been doing that does not require the use of the dollar sign. That is for the relative referencing. It does not require the use of the dollar sign at all. So for this absolute, look at how it works. Look at this. We have an item here. This is biscuits. This is chocolate. This is bread. And this is milk. Okay. Now, ShopRite is telling us that for January price, this is the price for all the products that I mentioned. And they are giving us a discount of 10%. Discount of 10%, right? So now, look at where the discount value is situated. Look at where the discount value is situated here. Can you see it here? This is where it is situated. So we want to use this discount value to get a new price for the products. We want to use this discount value of 10% to get a new price for the product. And for us to do that, we are going to say equals to this, which is a C5, multiplied by, I open my bracket, 1 minus this, and I close my bracket. That is 54 multiplied by this 10% to get 90%, right? So once I press enter, I get 49 as the new price. But if I fill down, look at what it's going to show everyone. Look at this. Does this make sense? No. And this happened because I did not reference my cell. I need to reference my cell. Okay? Look at it. Look at my formula. C5, which is this 54, multiplied by 1 minus C3, which is this 10%, right? Enter. Look at the next one that has value. C6, which is 72, multiplied by, it's supposed to be C3, 10%. But it's telling me January price, C4. Look at C4. This is not my discount value, right? So something is wrong there. Look at the next one. C7, which is this, multiplied by C5. Can you see C5? But this is what is supposed to be C3. So the reason why that happened was because I did not reference myself. So in order for me to do that, I'm going to lock this C3 and I'm going to use the function F4 and I'm going to press enter. And I'm going to scroll down. This is it. Now I have my correct answer. If you look at it here, I have C5 multiplied by C3 here. Look at this one, C6. Can you see? 6 is multiplied by the same C3 because I have locked it. This one as well, C7 multiplied by this discount value. And this one, C8 multiplied by the discount value. So this is it. Can you see? So that is how absolute referencing works. For this relative referencing, we know this one already. It's just for, we have been given it, okay. Why didn't you lock C5? Okay. All right, thank you very much. I didn't lock C5 because I am done with it. I am done with it, and that is 54 multiplied by the discount value, right? So since I have gotten my answer for the new price, the next one is 72, and that is what C6. So if I lock this, it means if I fill down, I will still get the same answers. Okay, I'll still get the same answer. Let me even answer your question. Let me answer your question, Chidi. Let me lock C5 and let's see what is going to happen. If I lock the C5 function F4, can you see? I have logged it and I press enter. If I fill down, I'm going to get 49. Can you see? That is the answer I'm going to get all through because I have logged it. By locking it, it means if I drag down, instead of it to reference 72, 45, 36, it will not reference them. Rather, it will reference the 54 because I logged it. So I'm going to remove the $sign there. I press enter. I hope I've answered your question now. I hope I've answered your question. All right, thank you very much. Okay, so for this one, the relative referencing, we don't need to stress ourselves regarding this. For each price, there is what? There is a discount value attached to it for each price. Biscuit has its own discount value. Chocolate has its own discount value. Bread has its own discount value. Milk has its own discount value. So if I want to get my answer here, I simply say equals to this multiplied by 1 minus this, and I close my bracket. I don't need to lock anything. Relative reference is by far the simplest. So if I fill that, I get my answer for all of them. So that is how it works. Any question regarding relative reference? And the next one now is the mixed reference. So let me tell you something before I start this mixed reference. I usually get this feedback that it's kind of hard because of how it works. If you look at this, for the same item, bread, chocolate, bread, and biscuits and milk here, we have January price, which is 54. Let me delete this. 54, 72, 45, and 36 respectively, right? And we have been told, let me reduce this discount value to 15%, that in February, we want to get a discount of 15%. In March, we want to get a discount of 10%. And in April, this is April, we want to get a discount of 12% here. We want to get a discount of 12% here, right? Now, my goal is to ensure that I apply my formula correctly once. Once I apply my formula correctly just once, I don't need to reapply it across board. All I need to do is to fill down and fill to the right. So if I want to do this, I'm going to say equals to this multiplied by 1 minus this, and I close my bracket and I press enter. Can you see? Now I have gotten my price for February. The goal is to ensure that with the application of a single formula correctly, I can fill down like this and fill to the right like this and get my answer. But with the way it is currently, I did not get the correct answer. And that is because I did not lock my cell properly. I did not reference my cell properly. So I'm going to Control Z and I'm going to lock my cell properly. Now look at this, everyone. Please pay attention and follow me, everyone. If you look at 15, 10, 12, they are on the column header, right? I want to drag to the right and look at my price. I'm working with these two formulas, this row and this column. That is 54, 72, 45, and 36. And I'm working with 15, 10, and 12, right? Now, my goal is to drag down. And if I drag down, I want to reference this, right? If I drag down. While I am dragging down, I don't want this 15%. I don't want it to, because if I drag down without locking myself properly, if I drag down without locking myself properly, it will come like this: 54, 72, 45, 36, which is okay. But if I drag down without locking properly, this 15% will come down here to the next cell, come down here to the next cell, come down here to the next cell. Let me even show you. Look at it. I drag down. Look at what I got. If you look at my formula, C25, which is this, multiplied by D23, which is this. Can you see? I press enter. Look at the next one. C26, yes. I want it to come down because I want to reference this against 15%, but it is no longer on 15%. It is now on February price. It means something is wrong. It's supposed to be D23, not D24. Do you agree? Not D24. So I need to reference that. If you look at the next one, I like the way this one is, but it has referenced D25, which is supposed to be D23. So in order to avoid that, I am going to lock this. Please look at me, everyone. I'm going to lock this alone, 23 alone. And here, I am locking C. The reason why I'm locking C and I'm not locking 25 is because I want to be able to move from 25 to 26, 26 to 27, 27 to 28, right? That is why I did not lock 25. I locked C because if I drag to the right, I don't want to move from C, which is 54, to this column D. And this column D here will give me the figure that is here if I do not lock it. That is why I had to lock C. So that when I drag to the right, I will not move from C to D, and from D to E, and from E to F. Look at this D23 here. I lock 23, which is this 15%, so that when I drag down, this 15% will not come to February price. It will not come down here. It will not come down here. But I did not lock this, so that when I drag to the right, this from this D here, this column D here, it will move from 15% to 10% to 12%. Do you understand? So with this, I'm going to press enter. And once I press enter, I fill down like this. I got my answer correctly. And I fill to the right. I get my answer correctly. Okay. The locking is making sense. Oh, thank you for the feedback. Thank you for the feedback. Who else has a feedback to give? It does not necessarily have to be a positive one, okay? If you have any concern, please share it now. It does not necessarily have to. You lock both ways? No, I did not lock both. I don't understand what you mean by both ways, but let me reference myself. I don't understand what you mean by both ways. I only lock, in this case, I locked my column, and in this case, I locked my row. Any more feedback? All right. So let's do another one for mixed referencing. Look at this. This is a multiplication table. You know the way we have 1 times 1, 2 times 2, and all those multiplication table at the back of our notebooks, right? So we want to do the multiplication table here as well. Right? So now I have to 10 here. and I want to apply this across board here. Can you see? I use my format painter here. I click on the cell that I desire and I say format painter here. Can you see? And even for this one, I say format painter. So we want to do for multiplication table, 1 times 1, 2 times 2, and all of those things. We can use Excel to do that. And I'm going to say equals to this multiplied by this. Can you see? Enter. 1 times 1 is 1. If I fill down, look at what it's going to show me. Is this correct? Is this correct? No, it is not. Please hold on. Can you see? I mean, this is not correct. So, and this happened because I did not reference my cell properly. So if I want to do that, look at B32, look at my formula. Look at B32 here. Can you see? B32 is this one. C31 is this one here, right? So I want to be able to drag down and drag to the right. And if I want to drag down, I have to lock, in this case, I have to lock my row. If I want to drag down, no. If I want to drag down, I have to lock my column. If I want to fill down, I have to lock my column. And if I want to fill to the right, I have to lock my row. Okay? So I'm going to say here, put the $sign here, which is this. And here, put this $sign here. And if I press enter and I fill down, can you see? 1 times 2, 2, 1 times 3, and I fill to the right. I get my answer here. Can you see? So this is it. So this is how mixed preferencing works. Any question? Any feedback? We have just 5 minutes more. 5 minutes. Any question, any feedback? We can use the remaining 5 minutes to trash out any concerns. Does it mean you can't log after the multiplication sign? Does it mean you can't log? Depending on how you select your array. Okay, Chidi? It depends on how you select your formula. Okay, I get what you are saying. Let me answer your question now, okay? Let me delete all these ones here. Let me delete them. I've deleted them. So let me say equals to this. Look at where I started from. I started from the column. This multiplied by this, right? And I press enter. Now, in this case, if I want to lock, I know that, look at me, if I want to lock, this is C31, right? I know that I want to drag to the right. And if I want to drag, fill to the right, I'm going to fill from C to D to E and all of those things, right? So in this case, I will lock my row here. And here, I'm going to lock my column here. So depending on how you select your array, okay? So this is it. Just need a recap on the ref for all exam. Didn't late. After the okay, I want to assure you that the recording is available after the class, but I will still do a quick recap, okay? Since we have less than 5 minutes to go, I'll do a quick recap, okay? But rest assured that the video is also available after the class. So back to, I'll do a quick recap after now, and I can now fill to the right like this. So that is that. Okay, so for absolute referencing, we reference, in this case, we referenced our discount value, which is this 10% here. We referenced our discount value, which is this 10% here. And for relative reference, we referenced we did no reference at all. And as I mentioned, the relative reference is by far the simplest among all the referencing. So that is why we did not reference any cell at all. Okay, so that is what we did while you were away. And for mixed referencing as well, I'm sure you met us while we were handling that. So we have been able to work on that. So tomorrow, when we come back tomorrow, first of all, we are going to deal with the assignments that I gave. We're going to deal with it. From there, we are going to talk about name ranges. Name ranges. And from name ranges, we are going to move to VLOOKUP tomorrow. And if time permits tomorrow, we are going to talk about index and match as well. Index and match as well. So that is how we are going to end this weekend. And when we come back next weekend, we are going to talk about a logical function. We are going to talk about pivot table, and we are going to create the dashboard that I showed you earlier. Okay, so those are the things we intend to do. So we have a lot to do. Okay, we are still going to meet by 4:30 tomorrow. And if you still have any question while the class is not on session, you can actually send me a message on WhatsApp and I'll be glad to respond. Okay? All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a wonderful night rest. Bye. Okay, no, we have not talked about XLOOKUP. Okay? You didn't miss anything. The assignment is in the workbook that I shared in the WhatsApp group chat, okay? The WhatsApp group chat, it's there. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a wonderful night rest. Bye.